What's up, everyone? My name is Homerow, and today we are going to be tier listing every gadget and specialization in the finals specifically for Power Shift. Now, Power Shift is not a ranked mode, but there is a leaderboard, and there are dozens of us, hundreds, I would say thousands, perhaps, of people whose main mode that they play in the finals is Power Shift. And I'm one of those people, apparently, became one of those people. Last season, I ended number 170. Last night, I ended at number 72 in Power Shift. So we're going to go in order from light, medium to heavy in alphabetical order within the tiers. And we'll start with the specializations. So... and then one other quick caveat is I was going to do the weapons also, but basically in Power Shift, you can use any weapon. If there's a weapon with a high skill floor and you're just that person, you can make it work. It doesn't really matter. So for the weapons, it's really, you can play whatever you like. And I think you can make pretty much everything work. You can get granular and tier list stuff, but let's start with the specializations for light. So the first one is the cloaking device. I'm going to put this into A, and all of these also can have the same caveat where if you are especially good with any of these things, you can make them work. And sometimes like there's situations where they're extremely good and they go like all the way up into S tier just because someone is a little cloaked demon. But someone yesterday asked me what the cheese loadout for Power Shift is, and the first thing that came to mind for me was M11 invis. So it's really annoying getting multiple invis lights on the other team. With M11s and double barrels and stuff, and you can stand on the side of the platform invis and stop it, and it's pretty hard to see where they are. So unless you have like a flamethrower that can spray the edges and try to find the invis light, they can stall the platform pretty effectively. So cloaking device, very useful in pretty much all situations. You can use it evasively to get out of a bad situation. You can use it offensively to sneak up on people, or you can use it utility wise on the platform to stall the plat. So very good. Borderline S, top of A. Dash just got nerfed, so it's hard to put it in A. You only get 2 dashes. I think it just goes into B. It's still useful for any sort of skirmishing, but it just can't go A anymore right now. Here's the first thing that we get. Wait, that's not all. Oh, that was out of order. So here we go. The next one, the other specialization for light, is the grappling hook, and I would say that this on some maps needs to go into S in my opinion, because getting onto height if in a quick way and being able to go up and down off of height, for instance in Monaco and Skyway Stadium, there's paths that, and basically every map, there's paths where you need to be able to get back onto the height effectively and quickly. So I put grappling hook into S, but there's a lot of other skirmishing situations where you're not going to be able to be as evasive as you might need to be, and people are really good at tracking grappling hook over long arcing distances now. So but I think just being able to get onto height or be able to get onto platform also is just makes grappling hook a lot better in Power Shift specifically than other modes perhaps where it's not as utility. You don't get as much utility out of it. Next for medium, I think we're going to get our first D. Dematerializer gets a D. I think there's still situations where you can use it and it's still fun to use in any mode, but in Power Shift specifically, Dematerializer is basically at its worst. The platform is almost always just out in open space. You can still fight with it in buildings and stuff, but we're just going to put that in D. Next, Guardian Turret. I think it's definitely in the top here. I don't think I can put it in B, and I don't think I can put it in S. Although there are times when there's multiple Guardian turrets on the platform, it makes it really hard to push. But I think I'm just gonna put it in A, and I'm gonna put it below the cloaking device. There's ways that it can get deactivated with glitch grenades, and you can data reshape it. But it can be pretty devastating when there's multiple Guardian turrets on the platform. It can make it really hard to push if a team is playing very heavily on plat. Next one is the healing beam. Healing beam is going at the top of S. I think having at least two heal beams who are able to buddy system, heal each other, and heal people on plat, it can make it really hard to take out another team. Or when that's on your team, you can just like ride the wave of the heal beams and just not die. And do what I think of is the musket system that they had when someone would fire and then kneel and reload while the person behind them fires. It feels like you're doing that with the heal beam while also keeping your HP full, like max HP, where someone goes in, can empty a mag or whatever, tank some damage, and frag out a little bit as you're moving forward while getting healed. And then as they reload, you switch. Once they reload, they start healing you, and you can deal damage and get eliminations, and then you're both still up. And then when you're on plat and everyone just is huddled up and there's multiple heal beams going, that wins games, I think. Next one, recon senses is banned, so we're just gonna put that in D, and we're gonna do that again for thermal vision. I don't think they need to go particularly high in power shift either, because everyone's has an objective to be at, a central objective, so you kind of know where everyone's at in general. Everyone's looking the same direction. Shockwave is one of those things, like in the weapons caveat, that it really depends on the user. If you're goated with it, then it can go A. It could be an S if you're a shockwave main. But overall, I think it needs to go into B, above right now where the evasive dash is. Although you do get a lot more vertical use out of it. And you can shockwave things on the platform or just things in the way. You can flip mines around. You can shockwave down barricades. You can shockwave out turrets. So I guess I'm going to put it in A because I get to see a lot of people use it very effectively. It's not my main specialization on medium. I'm a heal beam main. I basically use it every single game. But there are times where you can switch into shockwave if there's a lot of this stuff going on the platform that you need to knock over, or you can knock people off the platform. So I'll put it in A. It has a lot of movement potential. People will be flying all around with it. And especially with the melee rework. The melee rework didn't really like crank it all the way to 11. So I thought shockwave was going to be really prevalent this season because I was expecting them to overtune melee, but they didn't do that. So that could have put it even higher within the tier, but for me, I'll put it in A. Next one, Charge and Slam. Charge and Slam can be really good on the platform. You can do a ton of damage to a lot of people. It can help you win the game in overtime, in sudden death. But for the most part, I think it's not the best specialization for heavy in power shift. It's hard not to also put this into A because it can be very devastating on the platform, but I think over the course of the whole game, you're just not getting as much use out of it as with some of these other things. So for Goo Gun, in Spoozers in my club, there's like a no goo on platform sort of mentality where people really don't like having goo on plat. But Goo Gun can do a lot of things. When there's multiple APS turrets on the platform, it can really nullify, or not, I won't use the word nullify, but it can really, I don't know what else to say, but it can nullify, not this nullify. It can really make a lot of these other gadgets very useless and take away a lot of utility from your team. And the goo gun can get rid of 3 or 4 APS turrets just all by itself. You can make bridges. You can use goo and smoke together on plat as a heavy, and if you have someone else bring smoke also, you can build a fort that basically doesn't go away. I've won games that way, and it's just fun to use. It's hard to put it above dash in the past, but now I would, and I'm actually going to put it at the top of B for now. Mesh shield on heavy, I think gets another top S tier. I'm wanting to move grapple down just because it's so easy to get beamed with it in situations. So I think I'm going to move grapple down. It looks like it fits better here now. But yeah, definitely heal beam and mesh shield top of S. The mesh shield is just a no-brainer. You just push Q and hold up the mesh shield and you get a ton of support points for doing it. The winch claw, I would say, is very situational in power shift, unless it's your main spec and you just can't do without it. And if there's a lot of lights running around, people backstabbing or double barreling, or just a very problematic player, sometimes there's someone who's like ultra carrying, you can use winch claw to deal with that. So it's hard to put it above charge and slam because of the mass damage you can do to the plat. But when there's a problematic light specifically, usually, then you can make kind of like an anti-light build out of heavy and bring the winch claw. That's when I think it's at its best. Now the breach charge, we're getting into the gadgets now, and we're gonna go by class and in alphabetical order. So for light, the breach charge I think is going to get another D down by dematerializer. It has some splash damage, but it's really not very useful. The gateway I think is going to take the top of B. It's all right to be able to move your team, but the team isn't always centralized. But you do need to take height, and it is a little more useful than these other things in terms of movement. So I think it's kind of like the best B tier movement. And I think there's also a lot of light players where it's in their main loadout from the other modes, and there's just a lot of gateways in general. It's nice to have. You can throw stuff through it too. I don't see people get that technical with it, but you could place a gateway on plat and then throw stuff through the other way, the other one, so that pops up onto platform. Next one, glitch grenade. Glitch grenade gets a solid S. I think it has to go below mesh and heal beam, even though it gets rid of mesh, just because these two are so impactful on the game, and you really need to capitalize on this. One thing with glitch that I do personally is I wait until my team is ready to make use of both glitch grenade instances. So there will be a moment where you're going to be within range of throwing the glitch onto the platform, and you're going to want to do that right away as an entry utility grenade. But if your team if you and your team can't capitalize on the first glitch, I would say you need to wait and pay attention to where your team is. For instance, in my mind, we're on, say, on Seoul, when the platform is moving between out of the initial building, around the stairs and towards the mall. When the platform is on that corner and you're wanting to glitch, if your team is fighting up on the roof and not able to look down onto, or skirmishing like in the basement, having like Fight Club basement, which happens sometimes, or fighting in the grass area in the middle, like the tree area, then no one's looking at platform. You might as well just not glitch. So I think that there's a lot of timing like that all throughout a match of power shift, where you can waste your glitches, and you can glitch and then glitch again and waste both of them and really get no utility. But overall, it's just Glitch Grenade is at its best in Power Shift, I would say. Gravity Vortex, I think, is going to get our first C. It can be useful. It's fun to use, so it gets a lot of fun points, keeping it out of D, I think. But people don't use it a lot. I don't use it a lot. I think mostly because the area of effect is a little small compared to like Anti-Gravity Cube, and it just takes a lot of manipulating to get it to work, and it gets turned off by Glitch Grenades. It gets turned off by Shockwave, I think, can move it, so it just isn't as impactful as it could be, but it is fun to use. The H plus infuser now, I think, is also going top of S tier. It's hard to put it above Mesh Shield again because the Mesh Shield does so much support, but it's just the fastest healing option. You can save people's life when they're 1v1ing, you can save them from across the map, not quite across the map, but from longer distance than Heal Beam, and you can save people through getting team shot even for momentarily at least, because it heals so fast. I bring H plus infuser basically at the start of every game, and I usually don't switch it out if I'm on light. I usually always have H plus. For me, H plus and glitch, I have every single game throughout basically the entire match, almost no matter what the other team is doing. Nullifier, I think, is going to get our next C. Again, it gets a lot of fun points, and you can be in a 1v1 situation, say a 1v1 sudden death situation, and nullify someone on the platform, but overall it only has one charge. And I think that's a very fair C below Gravity Vortex. Sonar, I guess, is going to, I feel like Sonar gets middle B sort of area. It's fine, but like I said before, the platform is the central focus of the game in most situations, in most games, across most matches, so you pretty much know where everyone is. It gives your team a lot of information. I would say it is actually more team focused than Gateway in Power Shift specifically, because everyone's spawning at different times, and the whole team can't use the Gateway when the whole team can typically get a lot of information from Sonar, but you more or less know where everyone is most of the time. Next one is Thermal Bore. I would say Thermal Bore is a lot more dependent on what loadout you're using. It's much better for long range loadouts, and it's somewhat dependent on what the other team is doing. You can and very map dependent. So there's, say on like Kyoto, there's a lot of layers that you can't get rid of, but on Cis Horizon, when people are goo walling sniper spots off the side at the beginning, or when they're on sniper spots in Cis Horizon, or on that's the one I think of the most, because you can get rid of all the walls. You can make holes in walls and give yourself sight lines. So map dependent and loadout dependent, I'm gonna put it at the top of C. But there are times where you can I've gotten kills with it when people are low on platform. It can start things on fire, which is nice. It can help you grief out lights, but overall I give it a C. It's best on Cis Horizon and Nozomi Citadel, I think. Next one is Tracking Dart. I think that also just has to go into C. I'll put it, I guess, below Thermal, but above Gravity. Again, when there's a problematic sniper, say, and your team is going to like assassinate the sniper, basically going on a sniper mission, get the sniper mission, then Tracking Dart can help your team track them down. And no matter who you hit with it, it's like a death sentence, because you're tracked for so long that people can just see you and will automatically try to get you because you are tracked. But overall, I would say in the greater tier list, it's just impossible to put it above any of this other stuff. Next one is Vanishing Bomb, and I want to put this initially right below Evasive Dash. I think if you're running Cloaking Device with Vanishing Bomb, you can just be invisible for the whole match pretty much. You can invis your teammates as well, but the only reason it's up so high is because you can just get a lot of free eliminations by sneaking up on people. I don't think invising your team is that impactful, but it is good to do before jump pads and stuff like that, so you can get up without getting beamed out of the sky. Next one, we are into the medium gadgets. APS, I think, also has to go into S tier, and I think it actually has to go even above the H plus, because when you're on platform as a medium and holding platform, you just need it. And if you have multiple and you're able to cycle them and make sure that you always have at least one, or you're able to cover the whole platform. I had mentioned before, there are ways to deal with multiple at the same time. You can data reshape multiple, you can goo gun them away, but overall, you just need it. It's clearly, APS is clearly S tier. Next one, the Breach Drill, I think is getting our lowest D. So the only tech I can really think of is breach drilling your own hover pad when you're above plat, could like flash the whole plat. There's times where fights get into buildings, but overall the breach drill just gets a bottom D, I think. Next, for medium, we have the data reshaper, and I think this is creeping higher and higher on my list, so I'm actually going to put it above Shockwave. They're different. This is a gadget and this is a spec, so it's hard to... We are mixing these two categories together a little bit, but it's just really good at getting rid of stuff that's on all of this other stuff that we talked about, and stuff we have yet to talk about. Can get rid of all of this on the platform, and when there is a central objective like the platform, and you can get rid of something, it can really change the flow, like especially if your team still has a lot of utility. If your team has grenades and RPGs waiting to be used through an APS, or are having a hard time pushing through turrets, data reshaper can change everything in your favor. So I would say it's creeping up there where I'm considering bringing it almost all the time, even instead of something else on medium, like maybe even other than a defib in some cases. I don't know. Defib, it's hard to also not put into A, so I was just thinking that it's hard to say because the respawns feel so free, and even I have thousands and thousands of power shift games. I'm not really sure how the respawn timer works. So there's times where you get these super long respawns, so defib can really keep your team on their feet, especially if you're using heal beam and you're able to just play a support role. It's hard for me not to put defibs high into A tier. So I'm gonna place it under these two things, because on light, cloaking device and grappling hook just give you a lot of autonomous use, whereas defib you have to be in a support role, and you really should be playing heal beam with defib, but just keeping the team up is huge. All right, next one is the first time that we're running into explosive mine and proximity, which are on both medium and heavy. I have heavy images that didn't upload, so I'm gonna have to go back and like cut the video and put them in there. So for medium specifically, I would say explosive mines are going to go into B, and it really depends on what the other team is doing. So if there's a lot of melee, a lot of up close range stuff, then it's good. But other than that, I would say there's other things you can be doing to give yourself a little more reach on medium. If you're playing platform on medium specifically and trying to get a lot of objective, it can be okay. And it can help you with invis lights sneaking onto plat, or especially the time I bring it the most on medium is if there's like a spear. Not that good against flamethrower because they get rid of it early, but if there's a spear or a sledgehammer that's being a menace on the platform, then I think explosive mine on medium can be better. Next one is gas mine. I don't like gas on plat. So I was talking about goo on plat. I don't like gas on plat. I think it's like a liability. If you only put it on the back of the platform, it's all right. But I just feel like I die to it a lot. So it's gonna go on top of C. It's fine. It has a lot of area denial and visual denial, but you can't stand in it. So you can just use smokes if you wanted to do that. Where is the smoke grenade? Oh, I didn't upload the all category either, apparently, or it's not showing right now. Okay, so we're gonna have to make a cut in this video and upload the other images. And then this tier list will be available for everyone, so you can fill it out yourself if you'd like to, for any mode, because it should be all gadgets and specializations in the finals. Next one is the glitch trap. I would say it's very dependent on the other team, and has a lot of uses. So if you're off platform, you can cover your 6, you can cover high traffic area that you're expecting people to come through. I'm thinking of this, any stairwell, any opening in the wall that's you're expecting people to come through, doorways obviously. And then on platform, you can have 2 in worlds, so you can have one on each corner of the platform, one on like the front left corner, say, and one on the back right corner, or on the middle sides, and the reach should cover pretty much anyone getting onto the platform, and it can be good there. But they get blown up by grenades and stuff like that. So it can help you secure the platform pretty well, though, I would say. So I want to put it high B, but I should probably go top C. Next one is the hover pad, the newest gadget for medium. And people will do the thing where they'll jump pad and then place a hover pad in the air, and they'll just be up there. If it's anti-gravity, you can go super high with it, then it's fun. And I have seen someone on Spoozer's Inside Voices has placed the hover pad at just the right height that when you stand on it, you get a head glitch onto the platform. Then it can look really good, but most of the time people are just up there with a hover pad and a turret on there, and it's just kind of annoying to have someone be out of place. I'm going to put it top of C now, I guess. It's hard for your team to use it as well, I think, in power shift, because they're usually just off doing their own thing with it. Jump pad, I think, goes top A. There's times where your team extremely needs it to get onto the platform, especially on certain parts of Monaco and certain parts of Skyway. Really, a lot of sections of the track on a lot of different maps, jump pad is very useful for the whole team. And all of this could have another caveat on top of that is depending on where your team is at in terms of respawning and how many people are respawning together and what the other team is doing. But overall, jump pad just can go top of A very easily. I would say the team can all use it. You can use it for a lot of different things. You can use it as a top shield and crouch underneath it. You can use it as a trap. You can use it against the side of platform to try to keep people off of at least climbing one side of the platform entrance area. You can use it in the moment and jump pad people off plat if it's not already placed. So yeah, you can do all the same sort of tricks with a lot of tricks with jump pad, and get a lot of team utility, and there's places where you really need it, where it's just about the only way to move the team effectively onto even ground, onto rooftops with the platform. Next one is proximity sensor for medium. I would say you'd have to build a loadout around it being super useful. If you are off plat and playing like in a debris filled building, I think that's a time when it's really good. If you are on platform and playing with smoke, or you're having a hard time seeing people if there's a lot of invis, it can be useful. But I'm gonna put it actually below the glitch trap. It's basically just doing the glitch trap job. The glitch trap does the proximity job, but also glitches them. And then now the last one for medium is going to be the zip line, and I think that has to go bottom C. It can help the team move. If you're in sudden death and you need to get to the platform, then obviously it becomes extremely important to remember to switch to zipline. If you have multiple people spawning at the same time and you need to get to platform, that can help 2 or 3, or if your team wiped, it can help your team get to platform during sudden death. And then its rank obviously goes to the top because you need it. And you would maybe, for me, I would think about taking out defib and bringing in zipline for a sudden death push that you extremely need in order to get to platform, because it's the only way you're going to get there. You don't have time to make a goo grenade jump pad thing, you don't have time to do that. But the zipline can get you there, and then it would go all the way up to S. But overall, I don't see people use it that much. Some people use it as their main thing, and it feels like it probably is saving you a lot of seconds over the course of an entire season, say, of power shift, where it's like, well, I actually got to position faster, 5 times per game off spawn, and once like during like a life without dying where I got it back again, and you're able to get into position twice per death. Then you might have to put it higher, but I think overall top of C looks fair to me. Next one is anti-gravity cube. This is another one where during a sudden death push, it can be very high on S, even above these two things, where you can win games with an anti-gravity cube. I think people have a hard time avoiding it. I'm not sure why. I have played with it a lot, so I feel like I know how to walk around it and not walk into it. But I've had a lot of times where teammates, I will call it out and people will still walk right into it. But it is one of the best area denial things for the platform, and it can win games, and it can help you win on a sudden death situation or on a final push into your own goal where you're denying people standing on the whole half of the platform. It also used to be bigger when it was even bigger than it is now. Right now, I would say it takes up about 33, exactly like a third of the platform. It used to take up like half, and then it was like OP. But I think I have to put it into above all this stuff into B tier, because overall it's really good area denial. It can super win you games. If you throw it underneath the platform, it's hard for the other team to get rid of, and it can pull them up over the wall so your team can shoot them. I really like anti-gravity cube in power shift, but it just seems apparently really hard for your team not to walk into it and die because of it. So you just have to be aware of that. Next for heavy is the barricade, and I would say barricade also has to go like top S, even above the mesh shield, because if you have one heavy who stands on plat for enough time, there can be 4 barricade walls. That is enough to cover your entire front section of the platform or an entire side. If you have 2 heavies, that each have 4 barricades up, you have a moving fortress, and they're easy enough to pick up and set back down. The cooldown isn't too bad, to where you can really maintain a fully barricaded platform. And I bring barricades every single game on heavy and rarely switch them out for anything. Shockwave can knock them over. Frags get rid of them really fast now. And then RPGs and a lot of things can get rid of them. I think I said, yeah, they can get reshaped, shockwaved. So when you're playing and the other team is using barricades, you definitely have to plan on the other team using barricades basically from the beginning, by having ways to get rid of them. But I think overall they're goated. Next one is C4. It can do a lot of damage, but you're basically missing all the building utility. I think this has to go right below the zip line into C tier, maybe even closer to like the gas mine. It can do like a lot of damage still. It's not something that I bring very often. You can throw it onto other stuff and then throw it at people, I guess, but overall I think it's just missing a lot of the building manipulation that you get in other modes. And there's other things you can bring, like the pyro mine, that where you can have 2 of them right away in world and cover a lot more area. So C4, just because it can do a ton of damage, I think keeps it out of like the bottom of C tier or anything like that, but you get more utility out of these things even than C4 in Power Shift specifically. Okay, the next one is Dome Shield, and this one I have a hard time placing even when I'm choosing to bring it. I don't think it can go into A tier because there's 5 opponents shooting it down, but there's times where it feels like you really need it to push through. So I think I'm gonna put it right below the anti-gravity cube and right above the winch claw, because there's times where if you have 2 of them, especially, even just one, there's times where the opposing team might be using like a lot of poke kind of weapons, and if that's the case, then Dome Shield gets a lot better. It gets a lot worse against melee. It gets a lot worse against flamethrower on plat, but it just feels like there's times where the only way to effectively move the platform, I'm thinking of like when you're going out of when the platform's moving out of Cathedral over the construction area, and then in between the Cathedral and the other side of the houses, the apartment buildings, when you're over the construction area, Dome Shield feels like the only way to have enough shield, like dome, barricade, and mesh, just to get it out of that construction area, is when like a situation I'm thinking of when I will switch into a Dome Shield, especially if people are using a lot of poke, like snipers and stuff like that. Next one is the healing emitter. The healing emitter has to go in S tier also, especially having 2 of them. Having 3 feels a little like overkill, but if you notice your team has 3 heavies with 3 heal balls, then maybe you choose not to place yours at all until one of the other ones gets destroyed or dematerialized or glitched out. If you're glitched, then you're going to be glitched also likely. But anyways, you can choose to cycle and have only 2 up at once and just keep yours in inventory, or you can throw yours at someone else. You don't need all 3 on platform. You can throw yours to a teammate who might be trying to hold an angle. But overall, yeah, healing emitter, easy S tier, heals the whole team, can heal 5 people at once, goes up to 20 HP per second over 2 seconds. So it starts at 10 and then ramps up to 20. And that can be for 5 people. So that's healing 100 HP per second. It's just pretty insane on your team. Next one is the Lock Bolt. This is very similar to the Winch Claw. If there's problematic lights, then just bring it and lock them down. It's good with pyronades. It's good with flamethrower. It's good with any close range heavy weapons. And then it can also be good when they're running in teams, when there's 2 buddy system lights or 2 or 3 lights running around all together. You can lock them all down and take them all out in one fell swoop. The next one is the RPG. I start with the RPG on all my power shift heavy loadouts. It can do pretty much everything. It can give you a lot of reach. It can almost like snipe people down. It's one of the most simple things in the finals is the RPG. I want to put it, I don't know. I think I got to put it around here. Probably here, to be really honest. I think the data reshaper can be a little more impactful throughout like one life. It's getting 2 RPG shots off before you die is probably the average, like 1 as an entry frag and then maybe 1 reload, and then if you're still alive, you know, the other team isn't doing something right. So I would say you can expect to get 2 RPG shots off on average. If you're living longer than that, then it doesn't really matter because the other team just isn't killing you. But yeah, it's good in many different situations, especially obviously doing like a ton of splash damage, getting rid of barricades, doing damage to getting rid of mines, clearing mines. But you need line of sight without an APS, so there are a lot of things to consider. But overall, it's fun and does basically everything you want out of an RPG. I would say probably better in power shift than in cash out. Probably better in cash out than in like quick cash, say. But I would bring it most of the time to most power shifts and most other modes. I don't know that I would always main an RPG. But in power shift, I think a lot of people main the RPG for good reasons. It's good to be able to shoot off the platform. If you're staying on platform, it's good to be able to have a long distance option. If you're close range, even if you're not close range, it can help you deal with things from pretty far away. The accuracy must have gotten nerfed at some point, especially the hipfire accuracy. It just goes all over the place. But the ADS accuracy is pretty good, and just have to keep that in mind, not to just let them rip from the hip. And the last thing on here right now, before I will take a short break and make sure I have all the other images that I want in here, which is going to be the heavy procs, heavy explosive, and then the things that all classes can use, which are very important to mention. But the last thing for now, before we take a quick break, is going to be the Pyromine. And the Pyromine I am going to put in the very top of S tier below the jump pad. It is one of the best things for area denial. For some reason, lights will just still walk into them on the platform, and it's pretty much the death of them. If you have 4 of them going, the whole platform's on fire pretty much the whole time. If you have 2 out, so if you have 4, I mean if you have 2 heavies with 2 each. If you have 2 out in world, you can shoot one or both. Usually just one, because your next one will get off cooldown and you'll have access to throw another one. You can shoot one of them, whichever side of the platform you're expecting people to come from. If you have 1 on each side, you can shoot one of them, have it turn into fire, and then throw another one, and then you have effectively 3 pyromines at any given time ready to defend the platform. And then the pyromine is also a lot better than, say, the explosive mine at once it gets blown up by like a frag grenade that sneaks onto the platform. So if a frag grenade lands on platform and blows up utility on plat, if it's a gas mine and you're moving the platform forward, then the gas gets left behind. If it's an explosive mine, it's just gone. So the pyromine, though, stays on plat and sticks to the platform as it moves. So even if it gets RPG'd or frag grenaded, then you still have the utility of the fire. So I'm going to stop the recording and get the other images that I want in here, and then we're going to wrap this up because this is going longer than I expected. All right, we are going to wrap this up. We have the explosive mine for heavy. I think this is probably lower on the list than explosive mine for medium because you have the pyro mine. There's almost no reason to really bring it instead of that, and it's hard to take up more than one spot on heavy with a mine. Bringing 2 mines and not having access to like a healing emitter or a barricade is like not really an option in my opinion most of the time. Yeah, I think it has to go pretty far down into C tier in terms of being on heavy with a mine. Definitely above the C4, I would say, probably still, because it detonates by itself, but I'll put it below this other stuff. And then same thing for the proximity on heavy. There's situations where, say you are running smoke and goo, then proximity becomes better. Or if you're an off-plat heavy and you're going and fighting in buildings and stuff, it can be a little better. Cover your 6, cover the high traffic areas so you know where people are coming from. Probably even gives you more utility than the C4. C4 is just getting pushed down more and more. I know it's strong, but it just has to. Probably something like that. I really don't see gravity vortex all that often. Next one is a flashbang. Please just don't. Right? So the most effective a flashbang is going to be, I think, is when you have 2 lights both using flashbangs and just doing whatever they want to do. If you have 2 lights on your team both using flashbangs, the other team's just never going to be able to see. And you would hope that the collateral damage, it's not really damage, but the collateral of your blinding your team gets outweighed by you being able to flash like the whole platform, flashing the entire other team. If you're on comms with your team, you can comm when you're flashing plat or flash where you're throwing a flashbang, and hopefully people can look away or know that it's coming at least. It gets a lot of utility if there's 2 lights with flashbangs you just can't see for the whole game. It's very annoying. I guess it can go into B tier, probably C tier, just because there is so much collateral in terms of blinding your own team. But it can be very effective. Anyone can use it also, so it can be really good if you're using spear, if you're using flamethrower, and you're able to flash plat and then just get in there and reclaim the platform in one fell swoop. Flashbang can be good for that as well. But overall, just blinding your team is annoying. It's just annoying to fight against. It's annoying to use yourself. You can flash yourself on accident. All sorts of things, and I think C is fair. I'm looking at C and I'm feeling like Glitch Trap I like better than Flashbang, so maybe something like that. Then Frag Grenade, I think Frag Grenade can get an easy A, pretty high A actually. Probably above the RPG, because I think similarly where you can expect to get 2 RPGs, you could probably expect to get 3 frags off of like an average spawn. And it can help you fight if you're off plat. It can help you fight when you're literally on the platform and deny someone climbing on. And it can help you take platform back. So it's good in all scenarios pretty much. Next one is the gas grenade. I think the gas grenade is terrible. I don't think it's that good at AoE with the enemies on platform. If you're on platform or your teammates are on platform, it's terrible. I swear that whenever my teammates are using gas grenades in any game mode, they throw them at me and then I die. I don't know if they're trolling me or what, but I think people just don't know how to use it, and that makes it go down even lower because they kill their teammates with it. Obviously, if you use it a lot and you feel like you get a lot, it does a ton of damage. It can do a ton of damage. It's fine, but there's just so much fire in Power Shift also that it really like makes gas not as effective as it could be in other modes where there's not as much fire, but there's like a high percentage chance that there's going to be a flamethrower, and like we're going to get to the pyronade here. There's like 100% chance there's pyronades in a game of Power Shift. Every single game, the other team's going to run at least one, probably more than one person is running pyronades. So gas just bad. I don't like it. Well, yeah, I think there is fair. Next one is the goo grenade. So the no goo on plat makes goo hard to bring if the whole team doesn't like having goo on platform, but the more I see it, the more thankful I am to have it on platform in the form of a goo grenade that spawns better. So goo has been spawning really weird on the platform, especially out of a barrel, but even out of a goo grenade where it's spawning. I don't really know exactly what's happening below the platform floor because it's not coming through the bottom of the platform, but it's only spawning one row. Sometimes it's hard to get it to spawn in the right direction even because of the curve of the side. If it curves down into the middle, usually you don't want that because it lights on fire. It causes a problem. And but overall, I've been very happy to see goo, and it obviously dies to fire and causes like a problem on the platform when there's a lot of goo and it's all on fire. But I think in terms of like moving, there's been a lot of chaos. The chaos just got buffed, and the goo can soak up more chaos than a barricade. When there's a sniper, the goo is tall enough that you can crouch and move the platform for a long distance before the sniper deals with it, because not a lot of snipers bring thermal bores, and you can be out of range of like a pyro grenade from a sniper position. I'm thinking of on like Nozomi Citadel when you're moving out of the building through the stairs and then up towards the big building when they're on the sniper position on the top of the staircase. Then the goo can help you move, say like over that gap before you're in range of any sort of pyronade from the light, and it can help move the whole platform. And then goo also, you can do goo jump pad and move the team that way. You can do can help you stay alive by just 180 goo and keep running, get out of bad situations, help you avoid getting team wiped. It can help you shut down turrets. So if you goo in front of a turret, it can help you fight on the platform without worrying about maybe even a whole side of turrets. It doesn't get data reshaped. It does get blown up by explosives, but those are on a longer cooldown. The problem is that there's a ton of fire, like we were saying, in Power Shift, so I don't think it can go high into A tier, but I'm definitely going to put it like in A tier somewhere. Even it has more utility than Shockwave for the whole team. I would say it's hard to put above any of this other stuff, but for me, yeah, I've been appreciating goo grenade more. And then if anyone has smoke grenades, then its value goes up, or its just utility lasts longer, and it becomes much more sturdy. And then the last two, let's say pyro grenade for last, even though it's out of alphabetical order. There was one other thing out of alphabetical order on the list, so that's ruined already. And we'll go with smoke grenades. So smoke is something in the finals where it's not as impactful as, say, like smoke in CS or something like that, where it's a staple. But it helps you keep your goo alive. It helps you, like I said, makes your goo extremely sturdy, where you can goo the platform and just move it and keep moving it. If you have a friend who's bringing smoke with you, it's like it never goes away. You can keep this goo happening, even if it gets blown up by a frag or an RPG. The goo gun is on such a low cooldown that you're able to... Oh yeah, where's goo gun? Oh yeah, it's on here. Okay. So since goo gun is just infinite ammo, you can just keep the goo walls up, and the smoke can help you do that, and then obviously can just help you get away, and it takes away fire, which is going to be the last thing we talk about, the pyronade. And there's always a lot of fire, so I think smoke actually can go pretty high, but people don't bring it that much because there's times where it's not that impactful. But I think it's really good with melee on heavy. I think can really utilize smoke really well because it keeps the damage down from fire as a heavy, so you take less fire damage when you go to push plat. It helps you get out of line of sight of snipers with smoke. It helps you keep your goo sturdy, and it can help you as a light on if you're doing evasive things. Medium, I think, probably uses it the least, but on light with an evasive build, and it can also give your team a lot of utility on platform or moving toward platform for getting across spaces like you would normally use smoke in a more tactical game. And then on heavy, I think it can also, like I said, be really good in close range encounters that don't have any sort of fire involved, so no flamethrower smoke. But if you're close range heavy, and trying to clear platform, melee heavy, spear, sledgehammer, then yeah, smoke can be really good. And I think it's underused. I think smoke is underused, especially because fire is so overused. So there's a running joke in the finals and ranked that, no one uses pyro grenade in ranked because the overall damage is low. People know that they can run through it and only take a few ticks of damage and still, frag out or make something happen through the fire. And you only get one, and it's on a fairly medium cooldown, so it's not like you get them back to back, or you don't have two or anything like that. That would be OP. And there's other versions of fire. You can bring a pyro mine, which does a lot of more initial damage to a team, and does it like pyro mines in ranked and in cash out mode are really good, but just the pyro grenade is it's a running joke that's not used in ranked. But in power shift, everyone uses a pyronade. So it has to go into S tier just because it's a staple. Everyone uses it on both teams. You're going to see at least two, I would say, at least two people on the other team using pyronades. Every class can use it. I'd say heavy obviously uses it the least, but on light and medium, it's very, very common to see multiple lights and mediums with pyro grenades, throwing them on the platform, getting tons of damage. It's like the easiest thing to get to level 14 by using pyro nades and just throwing it on the platform when everyone's bunched up. Shoot down the APS, get a pyro nade in there, and then try to clean it up. People will move out behind a barricade that's on fire. It starts goo on fire, like we have talked about. So fire on power shift is a staple. Pyro nade is a staple in power shift for sure. And I don't think it can go anywhere outside of S tier. And it's so fun. It's the only ordnance, it's the only grenade, I would say, not ordnance because RPG does this as well, that lands on impact. So frag has, an arc, and you can skynade people. It has a really good, the other grenades, glitch, frag grenade, have really good UI for showing you where they're going to explode along their path. So there are ways to get them without an indicator onto the platform or wherever they need to go. But the pyromine is just good for everything in power shift. There's so many choke points in the buildings when you're fighting. There's so many times where you need it to force someone off a position. It clears gas, which isn't as prevalent, but it also clears explosive mines. It also clears other pyro mines. It can blow them up before you get on there. It can deny doorways when you're trying to live or res. So it is better in the Pyromine is the best in Power Shift that across all modes. Like, it's not that good in other modes, but in Power Shift, easy S tier. So there you have it. Let's see if we need to do any quick readjusting here. So S tier, I think looks good. Heal Beam, Barricade, Mesh Shield at the very top. Pyro, because it's so ubiquitous. You need APS turrets. You need H+ Infuser, I think, to keep the team up. Glitch Grenade is huge. Healing Emitter is huge. Then A tier, this I think could get rearranged a lot. I think if you're a turret enjoyer and you feel like, you know, you just bring in, it's no brainer. Sure, I think the middle is fair. Cloaking Device can be really devastating. And obviously all of this is dependent on the player, how good you are with something and how much fun it brings for you. But for my list, I think this is looking pretty much in order. I guess defib could go higher, but in relative to these other things, the jump pad can help you move the whole team. Pyro can deny the whole plat. And there's a lot of times where you can get a bad defib off in Power Shift because there's so many opponents. So good, but not as good as in maybe other situations. Data Reshaper I could see putting above the turret, but turret just does in multiples. Turret is really good. Then Goo Grenade I think is a sleeper. I think it's really good and people just need to learn how to play around it. Shockwave, again, very user dependent. Sonar gives use to the whole team. Smoke, I think underrated, very underrated. I think Gateway is a little too high here. Dome Shield probably better. Looks like that probably. Evasive Dash is something that got nerfed recently, which I am hoping they put back to 3. I think 3 was good. I don't think it was overpowered. I think people learn how to track it and learn the patterns of how people use it. They could move the... There's a lot of ways to tune Dash and leave it with 3. So I think the initial 3 makes it a lot more useful in all modes. So I hope they do that. And then the rest of this, I think, looks like it's pretty much in order. Flashbang's so annoying that I want to move it down, but it is very useful. I would say, for me, the everything in C tier, I don't see that much. At the very least, like on these builds, I think Glitch Trap gets brought the most out of everything on C, and maybe Nullifier gets brought more, but I just don't really see a huge purpose for it. I think people just like using it. And then in D tier, the stuff is really at its lowest in Power Shift, where it is viable in other modes. But that is the Season 11, every gadget and specialization in the finals for Power Shift. Thank you for sticking with me. This was way longer than I expected. I think this video is going over an hour at this point. So let me know if you're a Power Shift main. If you are, we can team up, probably play against each other. I'm pretty much terminally on Power Shift these days. So we will see you in the finals.